I want to chat through SEO for 2026, and the anatomy of a Google page, I think, is the perfect place to start. So right here, you can see that I typed in roof replacement near me. This is a key phrase. You could probably change out near me with, wherever your location is. If you live in Louisville, Kentucky, if you live in Chicago, Illinois, if you live in Nashville, Tennessee, doesn't really matter. You could type in roof replacement near me. You're going to get similar searches, and it's going to be really helpful for understanding Google's first page. First thing you're going to see is obviously ads, advertising, right? These are sponsored placements, and these are specifically called Google Local Service Ads. These are called LSAs for short. Google has a specific list of like less than 50 different industries or different businesses that you can advertise on LSA. The thing that makes it unique that's LSAs, it's always connected to a Google business profile and you pay per lead, right? So here, if I want to call roof guys because I need a roof replacement near me and they are here close to where I live in Louisville, Kentucky, I can either send them a direct message or I can call their phone number. And as soon as I do one or the other, that company, Roof Guys, probably pays Google around like $50, $50 to $100 per lead. So that's the ads, but this is mainly about SEO. So I just want to be clear, this is not SEO. This is local service ads. Then we go down here to what I like to call Google's local map pack. So this is, for most people, how they think about it is like, this is all the Google Maps listings, right? I go to Google Maps. This is how I get around. This is where I drive, similar to Waves or Apple Maps. This is how I see the local roofing contractors, companies around me that I can call and search up, right? And as I call and I search up each one of these, I'm probably going to judge, but based on their ratings, right? Like most people do. I'm probably going to look at their Google business reviews. This one has almost 700. This one says 400. This one has 64. This one has 55. And per usual, most people, when they're getting quotes, are usually calling like 2 to 3 people, and that's it, right? But there's not only, roofing companies in the Louisville area. Louisville is relatively large. And if I click here to more businesses, I'm going to see all of these, right? So one of the ways that people rank well in Google, again, sponsored, another paid ad, they're just paying with a Google business profile. But one of the ways to rank organically, like here and here and here, is to get your Google business profile, aka the Google Maps listing, up to date, right? Make sure it has good reviews, make sure it has lots of images, make sure you actually fill in the information, make sure you actually claim your business listing, and make sure you have a lot of local citations connected to it. So this is one of the main ways that a lot of local businesses can rank well in Google is with their Google business profile. So let's kind of look at, this one's pretty good. New Look Roofing. So it's close to where I live, right? That's probably why I was closer to the top of the suggestions. By the way, a lot of this is also helpful to have in mind. As long as Google gives relevant results to whatever you're searching for, that is the value that it retains. Google no longer becomes a relevant business and no longer becomes a billion-dollar mega conglomerate as soon as you type in roof replacement near me and I start getting cat litter boxes for sale. Why would I go back to Google? I would go to Yahoo, or I would go to Bing, or I would go to ChatGPT, right?
Precisely.
So if Google doesn't give me and kind of predicts the answer that I want from the very little information I give, right? So right now, Google is predicting, by typing in roof replacement near me, is predicting that I need a roof replaced. And it's predicting that I live in Louisville, Kentucky, because it's tracking my IP. And it's predicting that I need somebody that is close to where I live so I can get an estimate fast, which is why it's giving me closer locations there, right? So all those rankings and all those factors come into play. But if you look here, this is a really great Google business profile. Why? It has over 200 photos of actual roofs that they've worked on, that they've fixed, that they've replaced, and they look so nice. And they even have pictures of like their team. So I trust them, right? I'm automatically looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, they've done this before. Great.
The reviews also.
Then I look at the reviews and then I'm like, wow, 402 reviews, 5 stars, and only like a couple of negative ones. This is great. Like, again, more trust built. Um, Here I can even go down and I can even see like what products they offer, because I need a roof replaced, but maybe when my roof got ripped off in a tornado or something like that, perhaps I also need my gutters replaced. Oh, good, they do gutters. Perhaps I also need my siding replaced. Oh, good, they do siding. Maybe I don't need a roof replacement and I just typed that in because I wasn't thinking. Maybe I just need a repair, and I just have a large repair that I need to do for half my roof instead of the whole thing replaced. So it's good to know that they do an estimate that maybe I don't actually need a full replacement. Maybe I just need a repair. And then I even have categories and I can even read a little bit about them. And they've been consistently posting on their Google business profile about projects, even talking about their team, like say hello to Owens Corning, Platinum Protection. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, I look at these people on their teams wishing me a happy Christmas. This is all things that develop EEAT signals with Google, which is really just trust, right? It's authority, earning trust. It's telling the internet that you're not just like a robot creating and spinning up a random Google business profile when you live halfway over on the other side of the world in India, and you're just trying to like farm out leads and just like resell them to people. This is like a legitimate business that lives here.
This is
All of
organic,
the
correct? So sorry.
Yes. Yeah, this is all organic. This is all filling out just your Google Maps listing, or AKA your Google business profile, to rank well on Google Maps, right? And this works really, really well for local services like roofing. This works really well for people like I'm not gonna, I mean, how useless would Google be if I typed a roof replacement near me and it gave me options for places in Idaho where you live. And then I'm like, I'm not going to have this person fly out to where I live and give me an estimate on a roof. I don't care how good they are, right? I need someone local here.
Zach, real quick on
Yeah.
also, I noticed they had their social media attached to the Google business profile as well down here, which is also additional to social proofing as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So trust signals now on social media are also very huge. And Google's Search Console actually just came out with an update not too long ago, a month or so ago, claiming that it uses Meta properties and YouTube properties. Of course, Google owns YouTube, so it's a little bit easier, but it uses social media properties to validate sentiment across different brands, right? So if you don't have a presence on Facebook, obviously the sentiment of how a user thinks about your brand is going to be zero, right?
Does
It
that
just
affect
initially
the
would be.
ranking also, though?
It does. It
Okay.
does now factor into ranking. Yep. So Google's algorithm also factors in where your site is talked about. And technically, it's not necessarily called this way, but technically social media profiles, accounts for businesses and pages are technically what's called backlinks. A backlink is another website, another URL talking or linking to your main client's website or URL, right? So for instance, for this roofing company, New Look Roofing, they are telling Google Facebook is linking to New Look Roofing. Blah, it was so hard to say. New Look Roofing. Twitter is linking to newlookroofing.com. Instagram is linking to newlookroofing.com. Those are all verified trust signals, because that's telling Google Instagram didn't automatically say, this is a robot, this is a banned page, I'm going to like not trust it and I'm not going to give it an Instagram page. This is like this saying this is a real person who has a real page that they've updated. It's a real business that exists in Louisville. Because probably about 15 years ago, there's what was called gray hat hacking. for SEO. So there's like black hat, and then there's white hat, and then there's like gray hat, which is like a little bit in between. Basically, you were able to spam Google business profiles and create empty shells. And all they were like new look roofing 1, new look roofing 2, new look roofing 3. And then you just fill up a Google Business Maps listing page just like this, and then your competitors would kind of just get 8 at the bottom because you would just have such mass volume. Now, Google quickly put a cut to that. They said, we're not going to allow that to happen. That doesn't build any trust. So a big part of what we're doing is Google is trying to mirror how people actually build trust. So for instance, when you just meet someone in line at a coffee shop, and they're like, yeah, I actually do like roofing stuff. That's kind of my company. You're like, oh my gosh, I need a new roof. Do you have like a Facebook? And if they say no, then automatically that kind of takes something in your brain that's like, why? Why do you not have okay. Oh, do you have like a website? Okay. Do you
Red
have a
flags.
business card?
You exist.
Oh, right. So like you're talking to this person, you're face to face, you're in a coffee shop, you're asking these questions, but then you quickly start to think this person has a business, to this person just subcontracts, to this person just does everything under the table, to this person's just started, and I don't want to I want to work with professionals. I want to work with somebody that I trust, somebody who does this, hundreds of times a month, right? And doesn't even think twice about it. That's what Google's trying to mimic in its search presence. And that's what's happening here in 2026, is that it's very hard now to just sort of spam bot things into the ether, because if you don't have trust built, through social profiles, through reviews, through having different listings, double verified, Google kind of starts to wonder, who am I going to push more, right? In a C, you can see this in a C. I mean, there's probably like over 100 listings here for roof replacement. So in a sea of roof replacement companies, if Google's going to push one, it's going to push the one with the most reviews. It's going to push the one that has the most trust. It's going to push the one that has posts filled out. That's the one that's going to push, because again, exactly, Google will lose its value, because if Google pushes you, the sketchy guy who just operates out of his home and doesn't really have a business and just started, and you call them and you're like, great. And then they don't show up when they're supposed to show up, and they don't fix your roof, or it's a hassle, or it's a bad experience. Guess what you might not use again in the future? Google. You might not use Google.
And Google don't want that.
Google don't want that. And then you might instead go to ChatGPT. And then Google's like, I don't want you to go to ChatGPT. I want you to stay here. I want to give relevant search results. So that
Stay with me.
Stay with me. Yes.
So Zach, this is great. So tell us how, though. Like how,
Yes.
now that you know that this is important, like how does this all come together? I don't understand.
Yes. So if we go back to all the results, right? We talked about the sponsored listings, the Google search ads. We talked about the local map pack, right? Now we go into the actual organic results, right? Now, sometimes here you see things like Yelp. It's like, oh, that's another listing website similar to Google, right? And its whole job is to take a collection of a bunch of other websites, a bunch of other businesses, and try to suggest the best ones. And that's what keeps them in business, right? So that's Yelp. So this is what we call a data aggregator, right? Its business model is to not actually like me call Yelp and then Yelp actually gets me in touch with a roofer. That's not how that works. It just gives another listing. So the next, I would say tier 1 ranking is Go Roof It Right. Yeah, Go Roof It Right. Man, I graduated high school. Go Roof It Right. And let's look at the anatomy of this website and think about, why does it rank better than some of the other websites? One, right off the bat, again, look at theme, social proof. They're on Better Business Bureau, right? They're a certified contractor in Kentucky. They were on Angie's List. 5, 6, 7 years ago now, but they're on Angie's List. You know, they have lots of other awards here. And look, they talk about the thing that I'm looking at right there, roof replacement. They talk about it. They talk about roof replacement after storm damage when damage is past repair. And they have a video of probably the CEO. Yeah, it is the CEO or the founder. And I can actually watch a video of that person talking. These are all trust signals that we are telling Google that this is a page worth pushing. Even more so is just in the header alone, right? I can request a quote. I can call them right away. I get an offer right off the bat, get $1,000 off roof replacement, save $200 on repairs. That's amazing. Roofing you can count on, request free inspection. All of this, and it shows people, right? Not just like pictures of just roof. It shows actual people. All of these are helpful trust signals that tells Google, you can push my website. You can push my page. Now, with that being said, there are some things that you can definitely optimize. So I wonder if you guys can see this. So this is Google's inspector tool. All the code that you see on the right-hand side is all the code that's in the back end of a typical website. So we talked a lot about trust. We talked a lot about those signals and reviews and all that kind of stuff. That matters, but how you build your website matters. This is why most people, when they buy a website from a web design agency or web dev agency or whatever, they're like, great, I have a new website. It looks pretty. It's beautiful, but it doesn't rank. It doesn't show up in Google because it's not built to show up. So you look here, and the first thing that I notice, if I click the selector tool, is roofing you can count on. That is its H1. H1 is a short for header 1, first header. So Google leverages robots to crawl the entire internet. It has to. There are millions of little sites, little URLs that are uploaded to Google every single day that Google has to crawl and its bots have to crawl every single day. The internet's massive and it's only getting bigger. So Google uses robots to crawl, and there's specific types of language that Google and Bing and some of the other search engines have all collaboratively said, this is what we look at when we try to decide what your website's about, right? So first thing that it looks at is the URL. GoRoofItRight.com. Roof is in the URL. That's a positive thing, right? It's not, again, none of these are the end all be all, but it's a positive thing. Roof is in the URL. Another thing that you look at, roofing is in the H1. It's in the first header of the website. And the H1 is kind of like your first at bat of telling a Google bot, hey, you want to know what this website's about? It's about this. And roofing you can count on. Now, that would be one of the areas of optimization that I think our team would make, is we would tell an agency partner, hey, it's great that this page is ranking number 1 in Google, but when I type in roof replacement right near me, it shows up right there. I think that's awesome. But then the H1 should probably be roof replacement. We should probably try to make this a service page rather than the home page. And then we should probably make roofing you can count on a paragraph copy that lives underneath as a headline, right? That would say, hey, roofing you can count on, right? But really what you're telling Google is when someone types in roofing you can count on, that's what the keyword it should rank for. But no one's ever going to type roofing you can count on as a keyword, unfortunately. So it still ranks, right? But it would be pretty easy for a competitor to come, literally take this exact same framework and just change the H1 to roof replacement. And these guys would be bumped down so fast because now Google is saying, oh, I'm just going to go with this thing that I know exactly what it's talking about, matches the exact search. Because again, Google is in business to serve you the most relevant results possible. Because if you type in roof replacement near me and you get a page that says roof replacement, that talks about roof replacement, that has people doing roof replacement and pictures, that all syncs up and all matches and tells Google and tells the bots, this is probably a good bet to push to the user and probably give them a person that can replace their roof, right? So
Zach,
those are...
I have a question actually. So Do you feel like the on-page SEO part of with any SEO, do you feel like it's one of the most important things, like if I'm a new business owner and I have a website built, is my on-page SEO more important than anything else when it comes to SEO?
Yeah, when it comes to SEO, if you are a business that has a website already, I would say your Google business profile if you're doing local business. But if you're not doing local business, aka if your customers are not within a 50-mile radius of you, if you can serve customers nationwide, your website is the most important thing. It is the only existing piece of tech stack that is constantly selling for you, pitching for you, telling people what you do 24/7, day or night, right? Like it is the only piece that's telling people what you do 24/7, day or night. People go to websites before they pick up the phone. People go to websites before they email. People go to websites before anything, right?
Even a physical place. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They
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 go
want
out
to they want to
before they leave their home.
exactly. They want to
Yeah.
trust the brand or the company that they're working with. So they're like, I'm gonna look at their website.
Matter of fact, I'd even add to that, a lot of the clients that we've worked with, I can think of one specifically here locally to me where she was trying to reach a younger audience because she realized that the older audience very traditionally would just go to a store. They wouldn't look it up. Whereas that has changed completely now, where younger audiences and younger can be classified even in like 40s, where before they go to a location, they do research, which has changed buying behaviors probably over the last decades, I'd say. But so much so that that's why SEO is important. And that's the press on. It's like you need to get to the website first before there's trust established to go to a physical location, let alone call a business, like you're saying, Zach. So, question on that. So, not question, but I guess the point that I was trying to get to by asking you that question was depending on what kind of business you are, if you're a local business or if you're a national business, if you're just starting out, it sounds like your Google business profile is probably number one on priority. Then it's your on page and
Yes.
then technical and then off
Yep.
page, the content creation.
Yep. Then the off page where you get into like link building, getting your website linked out from other brands, other websites, other URLs, other social posts, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, you first and foremost is just telling Google that this is a website you can trust and that we talk about roofing and we are a roofing company because it's interesting. If you go back, right? Here, I'll get out of this. If you go back, what was the new look roofing, right? That got 402 reviews, Google reviews. That showed up on the Google local map pack that had like lots of great stuff. I'm not seeing them. Oh,
Right there.
they're down here. They got beat out. Let's look at why. Let's look at why they got beat out. Well, one, they have Louisville's trusted roofing company. I already like the layout of this more. But again, we talked about it. You can have a beautiful looking website and someone else can be beating you out in the rankings just because it's not built with SEO in mind.
Doesn't matter what it looks like if no one's getting there in the first place.
Exactly. Right. If you're
100%.
not bringing the traffic. Now, fortunately, they're still on page one or the first 10 organic results. So that's still good. It is still good. Whoever did their SEO, I think that is a good call out that I think they did it well, but they're kind of missing a few things right off the bat. If you notice, where's their social proof? Oh, here's a review. Here's another review. There's another review. But where's their certifications? We saw that first
Awards.
thing. Their awards. We're not seeing that here.
Yeah, I see the socials at the very, very top, but it's very easily passed by. Like, look how small it is.
So tiny, right?
Yeah.
Very tiny. And again, kind of the same thing with the other ones. Like, does your home need a new look? Let's look at the inspector. I'm sure this is coded as an H1, which doesn't really rank. It's an H2, which tells Google, the bot, that this is like the second header that you should look for. So there's H1s through H6s. You can imagine H1 is your primary keyword, H2 is your secondary, H3 is your tertiary. The idea is that you should have your same main keyword throughout all of the page. So if you're trying to rank for roof replacement, your H1 should say, does your home need a roof replacement? Mark. Then underneath it, it should say financing available for roof replacement. And then underneath that, it should say top rated roof replacement companies in Louisville, Kentucky. This is telling and reinforcing Google, what is this page talking about? Roof replacements, obviously. That's what it's talking about. So again, it's not that it's bad. There's just a few edits or changes that I think our team would make, which would get it higher and definitely beat out that other company that we were looking at, GoRoofIt.com or something like that. Let's keep looking through here. Again, other great things, phone number right there, financing available, request a quote. I don't even think they had financing available either. And then more services, which is awesome.
By the way,
Locations.
sorry to interrupt, Zach. I just
Yeah.
wanted to share, Veronica, for your reference. So when we're running an audit or a strategy for these types of clients, typically we are looking at that and we're identifying areas that we can come in and be like, this is an easy low hanging fruit to get them to start ranking. Like that's part of our audit strategy process is identifying those types of things, right? So I didn't want to pass over that. I wanted to at least acknowledge that.
No, I think that's really smart. Yeah, part of our service as a white label SEO agency is that any potential marketing agency, any agency partner that comes to us and says, I have a prospect, I have a lead, or I have a client, they're interested in SEO, what would you do for them? Be like, oh, we'll create an audit and a strategy for you. And we'll tell you exactly what's wrong with your website, why it's wrong, how it's hurting, and what we're going to do to fix it if you get the client and if you want to work with us. And that is considered a lead for us, right? And that way, if someone did come to you, like this company was like, hey, we're ranking well, but like we just like to rank higher. What would you guys recommend? What would you guys suggest? We would take this URL, we give it to our SEO team, and they pump out a strategy and a roadmap of exactly what we would do.
Is there a perfect recipe for SEO?
No, unfortunately not. There's not a perfect recipe for SEO. There are, it's that principle of like 20% of the work, it's 80% of the results. There is a combination of activity that we have prepackaged in a system that is 20% of the work that usually moves the needle for 80% of those results very consistently.
And every business is different, Veronica. So like, depending on who their audience is, if it's more local based, if it's national, if it's, whatever, however many services they have, like it really depends. That's why there's not really a very perfect formula for every business. If that makes sense.
Which is why
I'm very interested to know, if you don't mind me asking, when we're talking about a local business wants to be top ranked there on Google organically, what does that recipe look like from Google to like, what is that standard? A bare minimum standard, and what is the recipe for that standard? What comes first in identifying how they are ranked at the top?
Yeah. So from Google's perspective, Google needs your website to have a page that talks about it, right? This is something that I think is missed from a lot of business owners or a lot of people building websites. It is asking people, well, when you're searching up your own business, what keyword do you type in? And if it was this company, right, maybe this company would say, oh, we would definitely type in roof replacement. It's like, okay, cool. Let's see if you have a page that only talks about roof replacement. I don't think they do. Like
Missed
they don't
opportunity.
have a missed opportunity. They don't have a page that only talks about roof replacement. They have a page that talks about roofing. That's good, like it's a catch-all, right? But you saw my search previously as roof replacement near me. So another thing, I want to know where their location pages are. I don't see location pages there. Here we go.
Yeah.
They have them down at the bottom. I would strongly recommend that they would put some of those at the top. But they have a location page here, Louisville's Trusted Roofing Company. That is their location page. So if instead I typed in roofing company, Louisville, Kentucky, I'm sure this page would be a qualifier to rise to the top. But most people think to themselves, I don't know why my website's ranking. Well, do you just have a page that just talks about the keyword that you want to rank for? No. Okay. Well, that needs to exist. That needs to exist before you do anything else.
Do you know what? To your point, to your point, Zach, when you go to our website, for example, Veronica, you wouldn't necessarily know that we have over 70 web pages within that website.
We
You would
actually have
only
350.
Oh, funny. Okay. Okay. So 350 pages. It's hilarious. It's my website. I don't even know anything about it. Thanks, Zach. You've kept it up really well. Thank you. To the point I'm trying to make is, as you can tell, even as an end user, we're only going to go to maybe 5 pages on a website, but the website is being built over time to 300 plus pages. Sometimes we've worked on websites that have 700 plus pages. That it really,
Thousands.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really gives you this insight of how the backend works and why it's built in the first place towards these algorithms and towards the Googles of the world and that kind of stuff.
Correct. Yeah. So for instance, with this website, you don't need all your pages to always link up here. Sometimes you have pages like Ozzy said that a user just lands on to get them here, just to get them to the website. Because from a user's perspective, right? I'm really drawing this out, but from a user's perspective, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll through New Look Roofing. That's interesting. I like that. Scroll. Oh, New Look Roofing. I just saw them. I'm going to click on them because I just saw them, right? Double trust. And now I'm here. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll give them a call. Click, done. That is a typical user journey, right? But it all started from the fact that they not only did I see them organically here, I also saw them in the local map pack, right? Double trust. And that's the typical marketing tale, right? Each brand needs at least 7 brand touch points before building enough trust for a user to even reach out and to even, spend their first dollar with you, because they just don't know that much about you. And that's a lot of times how our brain works. Some people think our brains work when it comes to marketing because we know quality and we know best case scenarios. No, it's really repetition. Most people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. And so if you can shove a brand and have it come up for roof replacement near me, roof repair near me, roofing services near me, roofing services Louisville, Kentucky, roof replacement Louisville, Kentucky. And if you can dominate all of those searches, right? Because maybe I don't like any of these searches. Maybe I say to myself, I don't like roof replacement. I'm not getting anything I want here. Roof repair near me. Oh, look, New Look Roofing. Again, the brand just popped up again. And then I go down. Oh, look, New Look Roofing once again. So now I have seen their brand 4 times in 4 different areas across my search. And I see it here again, ranking 3rd. This tells me that this is a brand I can trust and that I'm going to reach out to them. And then I'm going to probably give them my business, because as soon as I call them, they're going to try to work with me to get my business no matter what. And then you get the lead. So whoever's doing their marketing and their SEO, they're doing a decent job. They are doing a decent job. And this is the difference between a website that ranks well here versus, let's go down to the second page.
Well, hold on just a second. I have a question before we get into that. I was going to ask, how do you know, as when we're running an audit or a strategy for a client, how do we know what top keywords that they should rank for? What are we looking at? This is for Veronica to understand. Mostly because competitors, we're looking at the volume of the keywords, right?
We're looking at volume of the
research.
keywords, competitor. So for instance, if let's say Dave's Roofing and Repairs.com, let's say he came to us or to one of our agency partners, because we're white label, and says, hey, I need help ranking. I need to beat out, New Roof Look, right? I need to beat them out. Okay, great. So we are going to do an audit, competitive an audit, to say what exactly is Dave's Roofing ranking for and what exactly is New Look Roofing ranking for, right? And we can see all of that within our tech stack and our software, and pull all that data together and aggregate it into a nice report and nice audit. And we can say, well, they're targeting roof replacement. And Dave, you're not. They have service pages. Dave, you don't. They have location pages. Dave, you don't. They have these keywords. that they're ranking well for according to our tech stack. You don't. So let's create a competitive attack plan where we can now rank and go to rank for the same keywords that your competitor is already ranking for. And this is why SEO is a consistent game, because there are always people trying to dethrone the king. Always. There's always new websites. There's not necessarily a sweet spot of the amount of pages on a given like website or URL. But again, kind of going back to like, if you want to rank for a keyword, you probably need a page that exists for it. So I'm going to give you, for instance, right? I use, here's one of my many tools that I use here. So I just typed in roof repair near me, and it gives me so many different options of different keywords of people typing this in with monthly volume, right? So 2,900 people have typed in Louisville roofing companies in the last month, right? So it probably would be smart to have a page where all it talks about, where its main keyword is just to say Louisville roofing companies. That's it. That's its page that needs to exist. So that's one page. Roofing contractors, Louisville, Kentucky. That's again, 2,900 people search that per month. You should probably have a page with the keyword roofing contractors in Louisville, Kentucky, and that page probably needs to exist. So that's one. And then you can even like get into more pages. So for instance, what's close to Louisville, Kentucky is a little known town called Elizabethtown, Kentucky. So if you also want to be targeting people in Elizabethtown, then you have a page that says roofing contractors, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, or roofing contractors, Anchorage, Kentucky, or roofing contractors, Bowling Green, Kentucky. This is where you start to kind of get into some of the larger roofing companies that maybe dominate a state or a region or like the West Coast or the East Coast. They're doing this, right? They're having X service in X location as a keyword modifier, and then creating multiple pages for that, right? And that's what, if we look, that's what New Look Roofing did. So if you go down, or no, that's roofing, right? If you go down here, that's what they did. So all the different like sub-towns, sub-city areas within Louisville or around Louisville, they've created specific location pages for each. So if we click Mount Washington, this is a location page just targeting Mount Washington. So the better your SEO basically gives you more of a chance to rank for some of those keywords I were mentioning. If you have a page that says roof repair, Louisville, Kentucky, roof repair, Mount Washington, roof repair, Nashville, roof repair, Elizabethtown. And then you also have pages that say roof replacement, Louisville, Kentucky, roof replacement this. And so when you start getting into the quantity of pages, that's how your website can really blow up, because you're creating a dedicated page for a dedicated keyword that you're able to optimize for that keyword and rank for it and be able to beat out your competitors. Because a lot of people, they'll get in their brains and they'll think, well, I don't want to change anything about this page because it already ranks well for roof replacement. True.
Good question.
Yes, but after a while. So what we have is Google Search Console, which is a tool that kind of gives you an idea of are your pages being indexed by Google? Are they being crawled by Google? Are you visitors, looking at that in Google? And Google Search Console will kind of show you, hey, look, you published the page roof replacement in Mount Washington, Kentucky 8 months ago, and it's gotten 0 visitors. So that tells you 2 things. One, you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to look at that page and you need to figure out how you can optimize it and how you can make it better to actually rank. 1. 2 is, if you're past that point and the client or the agency partner or their business goals just don't really align with roof replacement, they're like, yeah, we don't really get many leads in Mount Washington anyways. We don't really care about that location. Okay. Instead, you might just de-index, right, that page. And then you're telling Google that I'm just not going to prioritize that page, or you just clean it up where you can remove the page altogether, or just create a 301 redirect where if someone does happen to visit the page, they just instead get redirected to the home page as well. Then you're telling Google, don't focus on these pages that don't exist. or don't focus on these pages that don't get as much traffic, focus on these pages. And that does increase what's called your domain authority, where what it does is it takes all the URLs and pages on your website, all the traffic that you have, divides it, averages out, and says your domain authority is, scale like 1 to 100, like 100 being perfect. No website's perfect. Of like, this is really high. You have a high domain authority. Yeah, yeah. So there are times, there are moments, but SEO is also a long game. It's like a Roth IRA. You invest $1 in, and the more that you invest into it, the more that you tell, the more that you have a chance of like it growing and compounding on top of itself with interest, right? That's how SEO works. A good example is, over 7 years ago, we did SEO for an IT company in Northern Indiana. And with using a location page strategy with a service page strategy, they consistently ranked past their competitors who were 3 times bigger than they are for 5 years. And he doubled his business size just from SEO because somebody typed into Google IT services in X location and he was first one that popped up. Therefore, he was the one that got the first call or the first visit. And that's how he slowly kind of took away at the competition, even though they were 10 times bigger than what he was. So everyone's kind of, a little bit more equal on the internet if you put in the elbow grease, right? If you invest in the right things. So that's New Look Roofing, right? And that is a good example of like a good, well-ranked website. Obviously, there's more things that we could do to make it better. But let's look at something that's not so great. Like Deer Park Roofing. Whoa. So real quick, because the audience or people might not be able to understand, I'm barely scrolling and it is scrolling way too fast, way too much. So when it does this, that was me scrolling a little bit. So already the user experience is making me kind of frustrated. So that's just kind of just one element. Another element is that the H1 that's trying to rank for, if we go back to inspect, where's my inspect tool?
Marketers are so picky.
So picky. This is what people feel though. They feel this, but they don't verbalize it because they don't care. They're like, whoa, this website just kind of just is frustrating to deal with. Back arrow, go to another result on Google. And then what just happened? Yes, exactly. And what just happened is Deer Park just got a real lead, a person interested in roof replacement. And then that person left because they were frustrated with their website.
Yeah.
Their website has nothing to do with a correlation of their service. They could be the best service in town. They could be the nicest dudes in town. They could be the cheapest option. Doesn't matter. They backed out anyways because they were frustrated with the user experience.
I actually had this. That's
exactly.
how I feel too, actually. But
exactly.
I had this very thing happen to me yesterday, last night, matter of fact. The U.S. government just pushed out the new food pyramid, and I was on the mobile website, and it was redirected from Instagram, and I'm scrolling, and there's one section in that page. It's a beautiful laid out page. It's our government. They actually put together a nice website. The problem is when I got to one section, I went to scroll just a little bit, and it went all the way through it. I couldn't read it. I was like, no, let me go back. And it did it again and went back up. It was so frustrating. I didn't even read it. Just skipped down and I got out of it. I left the website immediately.
Lost. Like a lead, a interested customer, client, user, buyer, owner, whatever, doesn't really matter who, but attention is currency, right? Because wherever the user who's typing in roof replacement, whatever attention that they're putting on, whether it be a Google business profile, whether it be a website, whether it be the ad, doesn't matter. Wherever they're putting that attention, they are more likely to reach out to that business and give them their money. So attention is currency. If you follow the attention, that's where the money is. And so unfortunately, as I was here, I'm like, I don't even want to give this website my attention. I am annoyed just being at this website and giving it my attention. So that's the other kind of stuff that plays into SEO a little bit. I don't know if Google's bots would be able to like find that and give like a +1 or a -1 just because of that scrolling experience. But I know a user would, right? A lead would. And And that would suck. That pissed me off. If someone went to my website and it was a real marketing agency owner and they actually wanted to do business with us and they were looking for a white label partner to work with, and I lost the lead, something didn't populate right on the website, and we missed something that looks weird or wonky or frustrated them, I would be so pissed to be like, I got a lead from the website and then I lost it from the website. Like, that's real money, that's real revenue that we could have had a chance at, but they got frustrated just because of how a website looks. They never met you, they never met me, they never met Ozzy, never met anyone else on our team, or even know if our service is good or not, or if it's even what they need. They just left. And that's a shame, right? And these are all innate things that we kind of already just do, right? From our stupid phones. This is more so just trying to lay it out of like what we as SEOs are trying to accomplish as a white label agency, working with other marketing agencies to ensure that their clients don't do these stupid things and
They're
actually
user
have a
friendly.
chance to rank well. Some other user experience items that are frustrating. Can you read the phone number? Can you click on select a location? Oh, can you pay your bill? Is it also kind of weird that like the free estimate button is like being covered? It's like covered by half the page. This is not me. Like, this is it populating incorrectly. I have no idea. Yeah, right. You can call them if you see the gray text on the white background right here.
What's the thing in the corner on the bottom right hand side? What is that? Is that a chat?
It's a chat. Yeah. Yeah. Find out if my roof is healthy. Oh, just another form.
It's just a CTA.
Just another form. It's not really a chat. Not really a chat. So, right. Exactly. This is where a lot of people would implement like an offer, like call now and get $1,000 off, like what the other company had, right? Or hey, it's winter time, it's winter season. We're discounting 5%. Or hey, we have financing available. There's so many different things that you can do to like pull a user in and we're kind of getting a little bit more into UX. It does matter for SEO because I think when agencies and clients and people of these websites, they kind of lump it all together. When they think about SEO, they think about like, well, that's so weird. Like, I rank well for this, but then when people click, like, I'm not getting more leads. And then you click on the website and you're like, because it's a bad looking website. I don't know what to tell you. Page 2. Yep. Which that's where websites go to die. I typed in roof repair near me, and that's how we found Deer Park Roofing in Louisville, Kentucky. So they ranked number 2. So this is an area of opportunity. If we're to look at this client, we're to try to, upsell them as a white label client with one of our agency partners, we would say, oh, awesome. You're ranking page 2. That means you're not that many positions away, probably like 8 positions away from being on page 1. That's awesome. All we need to do is we just need to go into your website and clean up all the crap here. Honestly, like if we cleaned up all the crap here, we cut down the amount of text here. We actually made this focus on top Louisville roof repair and contractors, right? And then made Deer Park Roofing Louisville like a subtext, which also, why do we need to say Deer Park Roofing in the brand when they already know that they're clicking on the brand? A little bit redundant. And then we need to like update the copy here, fix the scroll effects, fix the overlaps, the random cutoffs, And then I honestly think that this website would go up in the positions like by like 3 or 4 within the first 30 days, just by fixing those items.
Low hanging fruit.
Very much low hanging fruit. So, but most websites that come to us, I mean, they're not even on page 1 or 2. Most of the time they're way down. They're like page 50, or something like that. And then we get them up to page 1. So when it comes to ranking, right? Well, we kind of went through several items. We went through the difference between like a Google business profile page and how you can rank well there and how you can capture leads there. And went through ranking of organic website, right? And some of the factors that are necessary in ranking your organic site. Very high level. There are probably like thousands of other ranking factors that go into ranking a page that kind of get into the nitty gritty. Most of the time, our white label clients and our agency partners don't care. They care more about the results of getting it ranked, getting it high, and getting more leads and getting seen. But if I'm here for any questions that you guys might have.
Well, Zach, you had said something. So I think you touched on obviously the off-page SEO and the technical side. Something else I was going to ask in relation to how we report on these things, and you kind of was briefing over that just now. When our partner agencies are looking at Advirtis and they can tell that this partner with us has been successful, what are they actively looking for? What is tangible?
Yes. So a tangible way to know if the SEO work that we or any agency is doing is it's tiered, right? So first things first, the website needs more impressions. And what is a website impression? A website impression is where I type in roof repair near me and Louisville Mr. Roof, right? This right here gets an impression. The fact that I am looking at it right now, I've never clicked in that website or that URL in my entire life, but now it has an impression. Google is saying, because I typed in roof repair near me, it's saying that mrroof.com is a relevant enough website and URL that I'm going to show it on the first page and it's going to get an impression from it. Now, what we all are used to talking about is clicks. So first, your website's got to be in the Google search results more often, AKA get more impressions. That's how you know that you have the ability to actually start ranking more. It's kind of like, well, how do I hit more home runs? Well, you get up to bat more. Even if you strike out, you get up to bat more. That's how you hit more home runs. Then the next thing is, it's not long, right? So like, honestly, if I just scrolled like this, that's an impression. All of these links have just gotten an impression from me because they showed up in Google search result for me typing in roof repair and I scrolled past them. Now, let's say I stopped here, right here for the first time, right? Obviously I've been scrolling through a bunch throughout this call, but let's say I stopped here for the first time. What website would not get an impression is New Look Roof because I just stopped, right? I'm telling Google I've found my answer somewhere here and I no longer need to look at anything else. So therefore, any other results past this page do not get an impression. Yes, correct. Just like social media, if you scroll past like a Instagram post or a TikTok or a reel or something, even that person didn't like stay and watch or like or share or engage, it's an impression. It got in front of somebody's eyeballs. So that's an impression. Then what we think a lot about is clicks, right? So it's like, well, impressions, technically worthless, but you need impressions to go up if you want more at bats, if you want more chances to get more clicks. So now we need to talk about clicks. And click is, okay, I click into this website, which now we see why it's ranked number one. I typed in roof repair near me. Boom, H1 keyword, Louisville roof repair. Boom, keyword in the first sentence of the first paragraph. Roof repair services in Louisville, Kentucky. Boom. Awesome offering, 0% interest financing. Boom, H2, roof repair specialist in Louisville, Kentucky. This is the stuff that makes a website rank number one in Google. It's so consistent. 24/7 roofing services. I like this page and it looks good and it's not obnoxious, right? It's very simple, very clear, very to the point. I have the ability to text them. That's great, for capturing a lead. But as I go into here, I clicked into it, right? So now this website not only got my impression, it also got my click. So now that I'm here, I have the ability to become a lead, right? By either calling the phone number, by texting them, by filling out a form, by clicking the free estimate, by emailing them, whatever. I'm able to now become a lead for Mr. Roof. So if you're doing SEO well, you should see an increase in impressions, which should lead to an increase in clicks, right? And then leading to an increase of clicks, then the look and the layout and the user experience we're talking about of the page itself then should influence the person to give up their information because they have a need. And this is a company that offers a solution to that need. I will say that there are a lot of times where uh, where we don't control how the page looks and how it feels because maybe that's controlled by the client or maybe that's controlled by the agency partner. So sometimes in our scope of responsibility, we're just responsible for getting the user and the potential lead to the website. And then after that, it's not really our responsibility anymore. Now, if a person is also paying us for like web dev hours and they're also paying us for user experience, then, we'll go in and we'll make this better to capture more leads, right? With the traffic that it's getting, with the new traffic that we're bringing it to it.
I think there was one area that maybe we skipped over was position ranking. So to move them up to the first page.
Yes. That's keywords, right? Keyword position ranking. So, we talk about impressions going up, clicks going up, and then we talk about keywords going up, right? So basically we identify 5 or 10 in this example keywords around roof repair, roof replacement in their specific locations. And then we have reports and tools that track the entire website's URL structure and says, okay, this specific URL is now ranking number 1 for roof repair near me. And it shows the exact URL that's ranking for the exact keyword, and that's ranking consistently over time. And then we also get alerted if a URL or if a website that is ranking number 1, if it goes down and maybe it starts to rank number 8, then we're like, oh my goodness, what happened? Did we change the web page? What pages beat us out? Let's look at where competitors are doing. Let's come up with an attack plan to regain position. And that's a big part of what we do for our SEO services. Is we're able to track.
I actually imagine like all these agencies and their clients, the competitors of our client, right? And they're all like in this one room and they're looking across the computer at each other in the cubicles and they're like, I'm going to get mine first. No, I'm going to get mine first. It's like,
no, I'm going to get mine ranked better than yours.
It's a constant battle, right? And that's to Zach's point earlier. He was saying that that's why businesses typically want to continuously invest in SEO because their competition is continuously investing. It's like it holds them all accountable to continuously do, to optimize basically.
Yep. So, and we report on all this. We report and we say you got more clicks, than you did last time. We can report, quarter over quarter, year over year, month over month. You got more impressions than you did before. Hey, you have more rankings now. Hey, congrats. You ranked for now this new keyword that you've never ranked before ever. And then we can do the same thing in the Google local map pack as well. So we can tell exactly with our reporting and our tech stack, we can tell you for new look roofing, where on the map they are green, yellow, red, where they are ranking consistently, where they're not ranking consistently, what they need to do to their Google business profile to be able to rank for those searches and those keywords. And those are all things that we do with our services that we have baked in and what we do for 300 plus other agency partners.
Thank you, Zach, for going over all this with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Very helpful. And as you all know here, the audience that's watching this, Advirtis, we typically partner with agencies to basically help them supply these services to their clients. And, because we're partnering with over 300 agencies here nationwide, we've worked in lots of different customers, websites. And honestly, as you can tell, listening on Zach, that experience is tenfold with our team. And we've been really blessed to help out a lot of businesses. So if you're listening in or you're watching in and this brought you any value, we would be excited to have you join and subscribe to our channel and even reach out to us. Veronica is actually new to our team here, so we're excited to bring her on board. And matter of fact, you'd be just as happy if you got to meet her as well. So feel free to fill out a form, and we will be happy to reach out, and you get to meet at least one of us for sure. So thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for